Hi everybody, it's Katie at the Shepherd University Alumni Association, here again with another Roaming Rams Travel Talks info session. We have Paul from Colette here with us again tonight, and we're going to be talking about our first trip for 2026, which is Iceland's magical northern lights. So Paul, I'll go ahead and let you start talking about that.
Thanks so much, Katie. Again, my name is Paul Julia. I'm the Business Development Manager for Colette in Virginia, Maryland, the District of Columbia, and a little sliver of Eastern West Virginia. Very grateful for our partnership with Shepherd University Alumni Association, and very glad to be showing you this wonderful and very popular tour of Iceland. We often say at Colette, the eyes have it. The three eyes, specifically, our most popular destinations over the years have consistently been Italy, Ireland, and Iceland. So Iceland is definitely a top seller, and especially for the Northern Lights, it's a big hit for both us and our travelers. So really looking forward to presenting this to you tonight. So welcome for those of you who are checking out this presentation. Thank you for joining us. I'm going to go ahead and get started, but before I get started talking about the tour, I'd like to tell you a few things about what really sets Colette apart in the space of guided travel, what makes us different from a lot of other tour companies. Number one, we have had a lot of time to get guided travel right. We've been in business for 107 years now, so that makes us the oldest tour company in the United States. And we endeavor to provide a truly immersive experience to the modern traveler. So while we're going to take you as our guest to see those must-see sites that you want to see when you're in these destinations with us, we also want to take you under the skin, immerse you in the local culture through various methods. And one of the easiest ways to do that is through a culture's food. It's a great, fun way to get to know a culture. So we do pepper our tours with a lot of really cool, authentic culinary experiences. And when we do include meals outside of breakfast, typically dinners, we avoid hosting those at the hotel restaurant wherever possible. We prefer to host those kinds of meals at local restaurants where our guests can get an actual sense of local cuisine, and maybe even meet and interact with some local peoples. And oftentimes there's also an entertainment component included in many of our included dinners. You don't have to worry about schlepping your bags at all with us when you're on tour with Colette. We've got you covered with our hotel porters throughout. So you're simply going to be doing bag pulls when you do move from hotel to hotel, putting your bag out at the appropriate time. And we really endeavor to get our guests off the motor coach as much as possible. So we also sprinkle our tours with alternative modes of transportation. Those could be dog sled rides, tuk-tuks, camel rides, maybe taking a cruise somewhere, or a specialty train or something like that. And when we say designed by travelers for travelers, not only do we mean ourselves, Colette, and especially our product designers. A lot of tour companies use what are called destination management companies, sort of a middleman in the local destination. We actually have our product designers in situ in these destinations working directly with the hotels and other providers. So that gives us a great deal more control over the final product, and also over pricing as well, which is a big advantage. But we also are talking about our tour managers who are also local, and I'll tell you more about them in a second. But we also especially mean you, our guests on tour, because we do take the post-tour surveys we send out to our travelers very seriously, and we respond to those in designing new tours and working to perfect existing tours based on your valued feedback. For example, we are a land tour company, but we do have a line of river cruise products. And I found out that we actually offer those because we have a lot of loyal travelers who told us they wanted to do river cruising, but they want to do it with Colette. So we've gone over most of these. The pacing, we've really perfected it. Less one-night stays in most cases. It's a premium tour experience. We're going to be staying at 4-star and above quality hotels with a 5-star touring experience. And when we say we're an inclusive tour company, what we mean is we prefer not to give you a big long list of optional excursions that you can use to round out your vacation by paying a lot of extra money for. Rather, we actually average fewer than 3 optional excursions per tour. And then, of course, our tour managers. I always love telling this story about our tour managers. I'll start with the fact that I learned that Mohammed, the fellow you see in the lower image on the current slide right now, he's one of our best tour managers, and he was our tour manager during our Colette sales meeting in 2023. I learned recently from one of our executives that tour managers from all across the travel industry are practically banging down our door to come and work for us because they've heard such great things about working for Colette. So we really have the best tour managers in the industry, and these are people who are truly passionate about showing our guests these destinations and really making sure that you get the best out of your experience, from recommending ideal restaurants where you can grab a meal when it's not included on tour, to where you can do the best shopping for yourself, your friends, and your loved ones, and much, much more. I'll tell you a quick story about Mohammed that I always love to tell during these presentations, which is that when we were at our sales meeting in Morocco, we were in the city of Fez in the morning, and my counterpart in the state of New Jersey, she was there with me, and she had her cell phone stolen from her in the morning. She immediately reported the theft to Mohammed. That evening, Mohammed handed the cell phone back to her because he knows everybody in Fez, and this is the great thing about tour managers. They have the real inside track on everything in that locality. They know all the right people. They've got great connections. They know the inside scoop on all the best restaurants. Okay, maybe it's a great restaurant and gets great reviews, but not if they just fired their star chef and got a newbie in there, which can happen. So much better than TripAdvisor reviews to get the august opinion of a quality tour manager like Mohammed. So just before we move into the main event of Iceland Magical Northern Lights, just to tell you a few features about Colette that also set us apart. One is our hometown pickup service. So this basically removes from the equation the hassle of getting to and from your local airport. Instead, we're going to provide a dedicated motor coach or other form of transportation to pick you all up at a pre-designated location and take everyone to the local airport, and that's a round-trip service. So you're already getting to know your fellow travelers already on the way to the airport, and your vacation is practically started at your doorstep. And there are some ways you can actually personalize your adventure with us. Guided Travel's gotten a bit of a reputation for being very rigid, but we're all about giving you some sense of choice on tour. Of course, dining experiences, I would refer you to your expert tour manager. They reach out to you about a week prior to departure to kind of start a conversation with you over email. Optional excursions, again, we average fewer than many other tour companies out there, but we do like to offer a few for those of you who like to keep active even when there is some pre-designated leisure time on tour. And you're always welcome to add additional nights either to the beginning or the end of any of our tours if you'd like to stay in destination a little bit longer. Some of our tours have optional pre- and or post-tour extensions as well, where you've got a little preset package that you can add on to your existing tour to flesh it out a little bit further. And if you're interested in all of our group tour offerings are going to be priced including economy class, but if you're interested in flying in style and you prefer premium economy or business class, we can certainly make that a reality for you. In that case, however, I would encourage you to book sooner rather than later with us and not wait just up until the deadline to register, because we're not holding those fares. So those fares are going to continue to creep up and up as we get closer to the travel dates. Also very well known for our cancel for any reason travel protection. This is trip insurance at the best level. In terms of the cancel for any reason aspect, it is the best in the industry. It's the only cancel for any reason insurance whereby the purchaser gets a full cash refund to their original point of purchase, whether it be a credit card or check or what have you. All you have to do is notify us no later than the day prior to the departure of your trip, and you'll get that full cash refund. No questions asked for any reason or no reason at all. And once you're on tour with us, that's going to cover you for medical, emergency evacuation, baggage loss, trip delay, trip interruption, all with round-the-clock emergency 24/7 assistance. And another great thing about it is it's a flat premium cost. Everyone pays the same amount regardless of age or health. Then we have our loyalty program. In the interest of time, I'm not going to dive too deeply into this, but if you have traveled with us before, please note that we do reward our many loyal travelers with certain incentives where you get a certain amount credited off your next trip with us if you've traveled with us in a certain time frame, usually a year to 2 years. And then if you've completed 3 or more tours with Colette, that also confers on you an additional benefit at Explorer level. And a quick note, just some housekeeping here, passports and visas. U.S. citizens are not required to have any kind of visa to visit Iceland. However, your passport should be valid for up to 8 months beyond the travel date to Iceland. And most importantly, I always like to drive home the point on this slide that it is very important when you're registered for a tour with us to please make sure that the information you submit on the registration form exactly matches the information as it appears on your passport. Most specifically, your name needs to exactly match your passport name to the letter, including middle initials and middle names. And the reason I really like to drive home this point is because the TSA are real sticklers about this, and there have been cases of passengers having been denied boarding for something as simple as one letter being off their travel documents. If that does happen, we can fix it, so please don't worry, but it can get quite expensive, especially if we don't find out until the 11th hour those name changes with the airlines. So again, I would simply ask that you please double and triple check that information as you're registering with us for any trip. Now, we talked about the fact that you do not need a visa as an American citizen, but I'd just like to mention ETIAS because it's been talked about for the last 2 or 3 years by the Schengen zone of the European Union, essentially. And this is not a visa in the sense that a visa is much more involved, usually has to be done through a consulate. And honestly, this has been deferred. It was supposed to be put in place in 2024. It was supposed to be put in place this year. Now there's talk about it getting put in place in 2026, but who knows? But since we're talking about travel in 2026, please just be aware that this could get put in place. It will involve, if it does get put in place, filling out a short form online through this ETIAS visa website and paying a small fee of like $8 to $10. And honestly, the requirements are not stringent, anywhere near as stringent as obtaining a visa. So having said all that, let's go ahead and dive in. This is I just want to mention that you can register for the tour through the web page we've constructed and check out with a secure connection. We accept all major credit cards, and you can also learn a lot about the tour on that landing page. And then here are the hard facts before we move into the fun stuff. This is Iceland's magical northern lights. Traveling at a fantastic time to experience the northern lights. It's best experienced October through March, but of course, peak is really in the middle of winter. So great time to go there, experience those northern lights. Of course, we cannot make any guarantees that you will absolutely positively see the northern lights, but we do make, as you'll see, every effort to chase and find those northern lights. And should that not be possible on your trip, the wonderful thing about Iceland is that it's a magical destination, even lacking those northern lights, and especially in the wintertime because you get to experience it in its full, shall we say, frozen splendor, plenty of glaciers, waterfalls, and so forth to check out, many interesting geological formations. So that certainly makes it an inviting destination with or without the northern lights. And the northern lights are, of course, the icing on the cake and the real reason why we all want to take this amazing tour. The deposit on all our tours is currently $698 per person. The insurance on this tour, cancel for any reason again, is $549 per person. And we have a deadline up to which we're holding space with Shepherd University Alumni Association up until the 31st of July of 2025. So the end of next month, essentially. And I should also mention, I mentioned previously, if you're interested in air upgrades, please don't delay in booking with us. But also, if you are a solo traveler and you're interested in staying in a single room, we have a finite number of single rooms per tour departure, usually about 5 rooms. So in that case, I would encourage you to book with us as soon as possible as well to make sure that you can get a single room for yourself. You'll also notice the deposit due date, right under that it says 100% fully refundable, including insurance, the same day. What that means is if you purchase or cancel for any reason trip insurance, let's say you book today, maybe you have some urgency because you're a single traveler, but let's say you book today, you pay the deposit, you purchase our insurance, and then for some reason you have to cancel, as long as you cancel no later than the 31st of July, you have absolutely nothing to lose. Not only will you get any money you paid towards your trip back, but you'll also get the insurance premium back up to that date of the 31st of July. Once we're past that date, of course, if you've purchased our insurance, you can let us know of your need to cancel up to the day prior to departure, and you'll get a full refund of any monies you paid towards your trip, but at that point you would lose the insurance premium. But that's really, when you think about it, a really great deal, because it's rare, very rare to almost never that someone gets an insurance premium back because they didn't use the insurance, right? And then the price per person is $37.99, including round-trip economy class airfare, and that's sharing a double or twin room. You'll find the single room prices on the website. So, having said all of that, let's go ahead and get started with the main event and have some fun here. This is Iceland's Magical Northern Lights, again from January 30th through the 5th of February of 2026. Great time to experience that Aurora Borealis in this magical country. It's the shortest tour, 7 days, with 11 meals included. And in my interest, we endeavor, whenever possible, to provide nonstop flights. And from our area, roughly, it's about a 5-hour nonstop flight. Now, nonstop flights aren't always obtainable, so it could get a little bit longer if we have a connection. But that's typically, and that's one of the things that's made Iceland so popular, is the ease of access to the country from the eastern seaboard of the U.S. So here's kind of the view from 30,000 feet. When we're traveling overseas, we're always counting day one as an overnight flight. So you're going to arrive into Iceland early in the morning on day 2. Into Reykjavik, and then we're going to spend one night in Reykjavik, but that's because we want to move on to Vik, where we're going to be staying for 3 nights and working really hard to chase those northern lights. First thing you'll notice about Vik on this map is that it's very close to the sea, not really surrounded by a bay or anything like that, like Reykjavik is. So, and then the fact that it's much, much smaller than Reykjavik. You'll see in the images, it's kind of a glorified fishing village, which means that you get a lot less light pollution. And then the fact that it's right on the sea, you get a lot less light pollution. So it's really ideal for seeing the northern lights. And then after those 3 nights in Vik and sightseeing around southern Iceland, we're going to make our way back to Reykjavik for an additional 1-night stay in the city, and then we'll be transferred to the airport for our return flight. We have various touring styles at Colette. This is what we call one of our classic tours. These are full-size motor coach tours, so motor coach of 52 to 54 seats, but we're capping them at a maximum of 44 participants, so there's always a little bit of extra room on the motor coach. Of course, you get preferential access, skip-the-line access to major sites on these tours. We have over 100 of these tours spanning all 7 continents, and they're designed to be really comprehensive introductions to a destination, hitting as many highlights as possible at a value-minded price. We also rate our tours on an activity level from 1 to 4. 1 is the least active, 4 is the most active. To put this in context, most of our tours in Europe are actually on active at level 3. There's no equivalent for the Americans with Disabilities Act, and it's the old country. You have a lot of older infrastructure, cobblestone streets, and so forth. Not so much in Iceland, but you do have ice and snow, and especially since this is a winter getaway, we're going to be doing a little bit of light adventure, soft adventure, light exploring, that sort of thing. That also drives this activity level as well. So here's our wonderful tour manager, Luciana. Again, our tour managers are extremely knowledgeable about these destinations. Luciana is not only the tour manager for Iceland, she's also the regional destination manager for Iceland and Scandinavia. So she knows a lot about all of these destinations, and I'm sure we'll be happy to share her broad knowledge with you while you're on tour with us. Little trivia piece about the Northern Lights, what causes them. Of course, it's the solar wind interacting with Earth's magnetic field, and it causes these different colors based on where those particles are in the magnetosphere. You see greens and whites and maybe even oranges, and depending on the altitudes at which those particles can be found in the atmosphere at that time. And then some information for you about kind of basic housekeeping with Iceland. What's the time zone? It's 4 hours ahead of Eastern time, so if it's 6:16 right now, it will be 10:16 at night there. Currency is the Iceland krona, so 138 krona equals 1 USD, and generally the locals will prefer their own currency. However, European countries now, plastic is widely accepted. ATMs can be found just about anywhere, so your need for carrying cash is really going to be minimal. Maybe enough for, say, a bottle of water here and there, or a cup of coffee, something like that. Everything else you're going to be able to run on your credit or debit card. You'll want to definitely, we recommend this on all of our tours, the onion rule, I call it. I learned that from an Italian guide years ago. The layers of clothing, so that if you get too warm, you can strip off a layer. If you get too cold, you can add layers. Synthetic fibers are great for Iceland as well. Things that wick away moisture. Of course, you want to avoid wool because it's a cold and can be a damp climate. And then you've got long twilights. The days are short and the twilight is long, and that's also another reason why this is the ideal time to go to chase the northern lights. So here we are on day 2. Welcome to Reykjavik. After an overnight flight, you're going to touch down in this charming capital and dive straight into comfort. We actually have guaranteed early hotel check-in on this tour, which is great because typically check-in time at European hotels is at 3 p.m. in the afternoon. So your room is going to be ready, and not only that, but breakfast is too. So you're going to have a hot breakfast upon arrival to your hotel, because again, these are early morning flights into Iceland. Then the hotel is located right in the heart of Reykjavik. This is something we're also very well known for, the central location of our hotels. Near all the best things to see and walk to. A lot of other tours stay outside the city, so this is something we're very intentional about on this tour, the centrality of your hotel. So you'll have an amazing meal as well at a hip local restaurant, and then a search for the Northern Lights with the Northern Lights cruise into Faxaflói Bay, which is the bay that sits off to the coast of Reykjavik. So we're also on this day, we're going to get to know Reykjavik a little bit with a little stroll through the old town with a local guide. We'll take a walking tour and get to see the bustling harbor, the historic city hall, the Parliament building, and an age-old cathedral which dates back all the way to 1796. What's interesting about Iceland as well is the skyline, because you won't see a lot of tall buildings there. In fact, it kind of reminds one of how Europe was before the industrial age, when the tallest building in any given town or city was almost always the cathedral. So then also on day 2, after the afternoon exploring Reykjavik on foot, you'll gather with your tour buddies over some local Icelandic cuisine at one of the city's hotspot restaurants. And then, like I said, we're going to go and search the Northern Lights on a cruise of Faxaflói Bay. We're going to chase those Northern Lights. The tour managers are really good. This is what they do for a living, so they've really gotten good at, chasing the Northern Lights. Where are they? How can we get there? That sort of thing. So this tour, because of that, the tour managers have to be really adept with thinking on the fly, right? So of course we've got a lot of preset activities, but sometimes it might be an issue of, well, we really want to see the Northern Lights and we've got this opportunity, so we're going to go chase them down right now. So then on day 3, we're going to travel to Reykjavik. This is a long day, but it's packed full of incredible experiences. We're going to start with Icelandic's iconic Golden Circle. No visit to the island is complete without it. This is, of course, the most famous of all the scenic routes on the island. It covers so many of the stunning landmarks and historically significant places. First off, we're going to feel the Earth's energy as we approach the geyser thermal area. This is actually where we got the loan word in English for geyser. And then it's a short journey to the mesmerizing double cascade Gullfoss waterfall. If you're a fan of the Aliens movies and you've seen Alien Prometheus, this was in the opening scenes of that movie. It's an absolutely amazing setting, otherworldly. This is actually part of the Mid-Atlantic Rift. So you get two continents kind of pulling apart here, or two continental plates pulling apart here, causing this double waterfall. And then from then, we're going to head on to Gullfoss Waterfall and Thingvellir National Park. Here you're going to stand on the crest of the Mid-Atlantic Ridge, which means, in a sense, you're straddling those two tectonic plates, or if you want to look at it poetically, two different continents. And then we're going to have a responsible travel highlight. We're going to stop at the Lava Exhibition Center and dive deep into Iceland's past and present volcanic interruptions. Here you're going to, renewable energy fuels these exhibits. So you're going to learn from these eco-friendly and cutting-edge sustainability practices, which help preserve the natural wonders of Iceland. Then you'll head to Seljalandsfoss. I always struggle with that one. It's a beautiful Russian waterfall, but you're not just going to see the waterfall from a distance, you'll actually get to walk behind it. So this is a great reason to pack some waterproof gear with you, at the very least a parka, and make sure you have some water-resistant or waterproof shoes as well. We have a little bit of slideshow for you of the Northern Lights, just to kind of whet your appetite. And this is us arriving in Vik. As you can see, the light pollution here is really low, which really helps us in search of the Aurora Borealis. So Vik is going to be your home for the next 3 nights, and you're going to be staying at this cute little hotel. It's a family-run property, just like Colette, known for amazing views in all directions across the Myrdalur Valley and the Dyrhólaey Peninsula. That's another name I really struggle with. I think the anglicized form of that is Dorhole, so it's easier to pronounce if you prefer that. Sort of like Livorno in Italy is called Leghorn by the British. So supporting this Icelandic family-run hotel helps keep the economic benefits within the remote community, which is one of the reasons why we prefer to work with this property. In 1993, all they had were actually 6 guest houses, and today it's a traveler's haven. We've got 7 wings and many wonderful amenities, including a bar, a gym, and laundry service. And then there's the restaurant, which overlooks the bay, so you can't beat the view here. On day 4, we're going to rise and shine and enjoy a lovely breakfast, and then take off for the day's adventures, which are going to include Reynisfjara Beach, which is a black sand beach, the Skogar Museum, Skogafoss Waterfall, and the Solheimajökull Glacier. Let's go through a few of these awesome things and see what they're all about. So you'll start with Reynisfjara Beach, which is, again, a volcanic sandy beach surrounded by basalt formations, similar to if you're familiar with the Giant's Causeway in Northern Ireland, similar to that, same type of formation, same type of rock, basalt rock. And then you'll look out over the natural rock formations at Dyrhólaey, or Dorhole Island as it's called in English. This is a small peninsula actually created by volcanic activity. It towers over the ocean. And we'll also dive into Iceland's past at the Skogar Museum, and then visit Skogafoss Waterfall. So you're going to get a glimpse here at the Skogar Museum into Iceland's rich history. This is not an ordinary museum. It's like traveling back in time. You have turf-built homes and 18,000 regional artifacts. So it's sort of like stepping into a living history book. And then just a stone's throw away from the museum is Skogafoss, which is one of Iceland's largest and most awe-inspiring waterfalls. Also on day 4, we're going to, as the day rolls on, head to Solheimajökull Glacier, which is Iceland's 4th largest glacier, and this is witnessed centuries come and go. So it's really staggering to think about the age of these glaciers, and it's quite a large glacier, and it's great to experience something like this. Let's have this video to get a better idea of what this involves. And then you'll wrap up the day with dinner, and then it's off for another evening of aurora chasing around Vic. And then on day 5, we'll rise and shine for breakfast in the morning. We'll travel through the area of Vatnajökull National Park, and then it's off to Jökulsárlón Iceberg Lagoon. So Vatnajökull is Iceland's highest mountain and Europe's largest ice cap, which is quite impressive when you consider the size of Iceland relative to the European mainland. And then we're off to Jökulsárlón, in this image here. This is a glacial lagoon where you can experience floating icebergs and listen to them tell tales of their ancient Arctic winters. Let's take a look here. Friendly residents as well to get to know. And then continuing with some of the icebergs in Jökulsárlón are composed of ice that is over 1,000 years old. At the lagoon, you can search for seals swimming in the running water, which can be found there year-round. And then after a day of exploring, we're going to head back to Vic for dinner, and then once again set out in the evening in search of the Northern Lights. And on day 6, we're headed back to Reykjavik from Vic. We're going to drive along the south shore towards the Reykjanes Peninsula. This is known for its rugged landscapes with lava fields and hot springs. And we're talking about the Blue Lagoon here, but I have to point out that because of the volcanic activity that took place in the Reykjanes Peninsula about a year ago, we did move to the Sky Lagoon, which is located much closer to Reykjavik. So depending on conditions when we actually operate this tour in early 2026, it could be the Sky Lagoon or it could be the Blue Lagoon. I've heard feedback from our guests from both of those experiences, and they pointed out to me that either is quite a worthwhile experience. Of course, the Blue Lagoon is the most famous. The Sky Lagoon also has the advantage of being closer to Reykjavik, so it's a bit less of a drive as well. But these are mineral-rich geothermal waters that are a true experience favored by both tourists and locals. You'll have a chance here to take a dip yourselves. Of course, the mineral waters are supposed to have lots of health benefits. So we also will provide things like robes, slippers, and so forth, all the gear you need for bathing in these pools. And there's also a nice restaurant here as well at the Blue Lagoon. I think there's one at the Sky Lagoon as well.
Iceland has become somewhat of a trending travel destination, but there's a real reason for that. It is beautiful and majestic. Everywhere you go, you're greeted as a friend. You're going to see things here that you can't see anywhere else in the world. You'll have an opportunity to see the geothermic power of Iceland with the hot water shooting up into the air hundreds of feet high. We head on to Gullfoss, a spectacular double fall waterfall. Most people just do the Golden Circle, but we head out to the south coast and stop at Seljalandsfoss. We go out and explore the Reynisfjara black sand beach. We have a day where we head out to Jökulsárlón Glacier Lagoon, blue ice that breaks off of the Vatnajökull Glacier. That ends up on Diamond Beach, where you have these clear as glass pieces that are on the black sand beach. We take a day to go to Skogafoss. We really do focus on going out every night that we can to see the Northern Lights. We end with the ultimate in relaxation when we go to the Blue Lagoon. They leave seeing so much more that they never expected to see. Iceland is really more than a vacation, it's an adventure. It's really truly something you're not going to see anywhere else in any of your travels, no matter where you go. So make sure that you get to Iceland. It's just the most wonderful place to visit.
Well, that video really says it all. I wish I'd watched that. That's a new video. I wish I'd watched that before I gave my presentation. I could just run the video, and you guys would have been much more well informed. But I hope you enjoyed that video. So in the evening, now we're back in Reykjavik. We've had our fun at either the Blue Lagoon or the Sky Lagoon. We've hopefully seen the Aurora Borealis, hopefully multiple times. And then in the evening, we're going to gather with our fellow travelers for dinner and a toast to your Icelandic adventure. And then after overnighting in Reykjavik, we're going to transfer you back to the airport for your return flight home. So here's a little testimonial from one of our travelers about this particular tour. I've heard nothing but great feedback about this tour. Like I said, it's one of our most popular destination, and of the tours we offer for that destination, by far, this is the most popular tour. And I'll leave you with this fun fact. Hot dogs, interestingly enough, are highly prized in Iceland. They can be found just about anywhere. Even fine dining restaurants might serve them. They are, if you like hot dogs at all, I'm not a huge fan, but I like a good ballpark hot dog every once in a while. The way they make them in Iceland is sweet mustard, raw onions, crispy fried onions, ketchup, and remoulade salt. So be sure to try one of those when you're in Iceland. I hope you like them. And that concludes this presentation. Thank you all so much for your time and interest. We do look forward to you being our guests on tour. And we'll end it here. Thank you all so much. Really appreciate it. Kate, do you have any questions for me before we close out the session?
I don't have any questions from the chat during the presentation, but I kind of want to know, have you gotten to visit Iceland yourself?
I have not, actually. And truth be told, I like my warm weather destinations. I'm more of a Mediterranean guy. I'm going to be leaving for the Med in 2 weeks here. I have to get there someday. I've familiarized myself with it over the years because I've worked with a lot of travelers who have gone to Iceland, but I have not had the fortune of going yet. Many of my peers have gone, and they just rave about it. I've never met a single person who's been to Iceland who said, yeah, I didn't want to go back. I didn't like my trip. So.
I'm with you. I'm definitely more of a warm weather person myself, but this trip does look absolutely amazing, especially the Northern Lights, getting to see them potentially see them so crisp and clear, and just all of the other amazing scenery throughout the trip.
Absolutely.
So before we hop off, are there any other little tips, tricks, tidbits that you could maybe give to somebody who is a first-time traveler, just general information that would help them out?
Sure. I would again get back to packing and clothing. Just make sure you take plenty of layers. Make sure you take waterproof gear, especially if you want to be able to walk behind that waterfall comfortably. A good solid raincoat, a parka, something like that. Good quality hiking shoes with a good amount of grip, because there might be some occasions where you're walking over snow or bits of ice or uneven surfaces in general. So that's certainly a good idea as well. And with those Northern Lights, I would say, please pack your patience, because it's a natural phenomenon, a meteorological phenomenon that is completely outside of our control. Like I said, the tour managers are very, very good at seeking out these Northern Lights, but there's no way we can absolutely 100% guarantee that you'll see these Northern Lights on tour. Although I just heard a really great story of some travelers who went with us. They said they had days and days on end of cloudy skies, and then on the last night on tour, they were able to view the Aurora Borealis in all its splendor. So that's why I would say pack your patience. If you don't see it right away on your first night in Vic, or on that bay cruise from Reykjavik, just keep crossing your fingers. Hopefully, eventually, you will see them at the trip of a lifetime.
Awesome. Well, this was all a ton of really great information. Of course, Iceland's not the only trip we have planned for 2026. It's just the first one of that year. We have a couple more travel information sessions coming up in September. One of them, again, is with Paul to cover, I believe it's our Spotlight on Tuscany tour. And then we have another one with a different travel agent for one of our cruises, our Caribbean cruise, at the beginning of September. So we'll be posting information about that real soon if anyone's interested in either of those destinations.
Great. Looking forward to doing this following presentations as well, Katie.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us again, Paul.
Thank you.
And we'll see you soon.
All right. Sounds great. Thanks so much, Katie. Thanks, everyone. Have a good
Bye.
evening. Take care. Bye-bye.